planning your presentation. Whenever you are giving the presentation, the first important thing that you have to do is you have to plan your presentation, how your presentation is going to go about. That you have to plan properly. Planning, when we say planning, is a process of thinking. You have to think ahead. Okay, thinking ahead is planning. What I have to do, how I have to do, who are my audience, what are the contents that I have to give them, how is going to be my introduction, how is going to be my conclusion, what is the timing that is allocated to me, how many slides I am going to prepare, what is the media that I'm going to use, what are the visuals that I'm going to put, whether I'm going to show a video in my presentation or not. These all things involve the process of planning, right? Developing your plan B. You're going to plan for, you're going to do a plan A. If your plan A fails, then how you are going to do? You should have a plan B with you. You should have plan C with you, which are known as derivative plans. So these all things should be ready with you. Even while you must have seen, while going for a movie, you plan, right? You plan by buying the ticket in advance. You plan by selecting the proper seats. You plan by calling up your friends and asking them if they're willing to come for the movie. You plan by booking a Ola quite in advance so that you don't miss. You plan by going to the place over there in advance. So agar movie जाने के लिए, which is the most non-important thing, you're planning so much, then just imagine for your presentation, you should plan or not. Yes, you should plan. You should think about the activities that you have to do in order to achieve your desired goal. And what is your desired goal? Your desired goal is to make the presentation successful. So in order to make your presentation successful, you have to plan properly. Somebody has very rightly said, okay, and I quote over here, if you plan to fail, okay, if you fail to plan, okay, if you're not planning, means if you fail to plan, you are planning for failure. Okay, so you have to plan to become successful. It is not that only after planning the success you are going to achieve. But one thing is for sure, कि अगर आपने plan नहीं किया, तो definitely your presentation is not going to be successful. In order to give this presentation of 1 hour today, what I am going to speak with you on planning your presentation, remember my friends, okay, I must have planned, okay, and for each lecture what your professors give, they plan for near about 3 to 4, they must be given near about 3 to 4 or to 5 hours of their planning and preparation. Okay, believe me or not, उनका पूरा एक दिन चला जाता है आपके 1 घंटे के presentation के. This happens, this is even after they are so much into know their topic very well. They are teaching this topic from many years. Still, they spend a lot of time in planning also and in execution also. So just imagine how much time you have to spend in order to make your presentation successful. And if you do not plan properly, there is a guarantee that you are going to be failure in your presentation. There are many benefits of planning. First one is the words, they flow naturally. If you have planned properly, then the words, they are going to flow naturally. I have prepared this presentation, and while preparing this presentation, okay, I have taken care of sequencing, I have taken care of the topic, I have taken care of the time, I have taken care of my audience. All these things I have already done. And that is why I am able to speak over here, like sitting in front of you and speaking with you. If I wouldn't have planned it, मुझसे बोला भी नहीं जाएगा आपसे. Okay, so your words should flow, your words flow naturally if you have planned properly. There are high chances that you stay on your topic. You don't get diverted from your topic. Because you have already planned कि इस स्लाइड को मैं कितने मिनट दूंगा, इस आज के दिन में मैं कितना स्लाइड कवर करने वाला हूं, आज के दिन में मेरे को कितना टॉपिक कवर करना है. So once everything has been planned and you go time wise, okay, so there are high chances that you stay on your topic and you don't get diverted from your topic and don't lose track of your topic. You are focused to the objective that is there. Once you are planning, you prepare your plan also, and at the same time you prepare your plan B also. कि अगर ये चीजें गलत हो गई, so then what I have to do? What if the light goes? What if the laptop crashes? What if the slides don't open? Okay, so on and so forth. Yesterday I talked about the lots of worries. So when you plan, you think about these worries also, and then you develop your plan B and plan C also, which are known as derivative plans. In planning, the most important thing that you do is you study your audience. You know your audience. I know that I have to teach whom. I have to teach my first year B Pharm students. I know my audience. I know what they want from me. I know what is the intellectual level. At the same time, once you are preparing your presentation, once you are planning your presentation, you also know who is your audience. Are they experts? Are they your teachers? Are they your friends from your classroom? Who are your audience? And depending upon that, you plan your topic. You understand that what are the questions that are going to come to me at the end of my presentation or in between my presentation, and you prepare yourself for those questions. While planning, you correct your mistakes. Some mistakes that are happening, you find out when you're planning only that these are the mistakes that are happening, and hence you correct your mistakes also. So these are some of the striking benefits of your planning. And as I have told you, you have to remember each and everything has to be planned. Anything that you don't plan, remember, is going to lead to a failure. That is for sure. For that matter, as I told you, whether you're going for a movie, whether you're going for a tour, whether you're going for your examination, whether you're coming to college, each and every, whether you are planning to study for your examination, each and everything that you're doing needs to be planned. Tomorrow, I conduct my practical industrial pharmacy practical. I have to conduct with my third year B Pharm. I have a plan ready with me. That how am I going to conduct it? How many practicals I have in my hand, and how am I going to utilize my the whole day? Okay, if I don't have that with me, then what is going to happen? I'm going to waste my time. Are you understanding? And whatever objective I have set for me, that is not going to be achieved by me. That is nothing but a failure. So each and everything needs a proper planning. That includes your presentation. Now, what are the steps that you are going to take while planning your presentation? The first important step that you are going to take in planning your presentation is analysis of whom am I going to present this presentation to? Who is my audience? Are they small kids? Are they my students? Are they my colleagues? Are they expert from the field? Are they my what you call that, buyers? Are they my vendors? Whom am I going to present this presentation? Who are your audience? It is very important to learn about your audience, whom you are going to speak with. You should know their backgrounds, maybe their qualificational background, maybe from their values, their interests. You should be aware of. Okay. So if I am going to give a presentation to the Shiv Sainiks, okay, if their values are those, my presentation is going to be different. And if I am going to give this presentation on the same topic to the congressmen, the presentation is different. If I'm going to give the same presentation to the BJP ads, okay, who are the followers of BJP, then my presentation is going to be different. True or false? वहां पे जो कोट्स आएंगे कांग्रेस वालों के लिए, वो शिवसेना वालों के लिए नहीं आएंगे, वो बीजेपी वालों के लिए नहीं आएंगे, या फिर जो बीजेपी वालों के लिए कोट्स आने वाले वो बाकी पार्टीज के लिए नहीं आएंगे. Try to understand these things. So it is very important for you to know their background, values, and interest. The presentation that I'm going to, the same presentation, if I'm talking, okay, regarding planning a presentation, if the same topic I'm going to teach to the final year B Pharm students, or for that matter, the M Pharm students, or for the PhD students, the things that I'm going to speak is going to be different. Then that I'm speaking with you, and then that I'm speaking with the kids, as I told you earlier. At the same time, if I'm going to give this presentation to the experts who are in the field, who are very who are good in the field of presentation, then my examples would be different. Then my explanation would be different. So you have to very well understand your presentation, and you should understand what the audience are expecting from you, or expecting from your presentation, that you have to understand. The second important thing, step that you are going to take is you are going to select a topic. Now, many a times the selection of topic is not possible. Just for an example, the person who, the organizers, they tell you the topic, or in case of the professors, whatever is there in the syllabus, that is the topic they have to select. So many a time, or for that matter, for the students, whatever is research work, that topic he has to select. Many a times the topic selection of topic is not possible, but wherever the selection of topic is possible, where the organizers tell you आपके interest का कोई topic लीजिए, then you have to select such a topic, the topic is going to interest the audience, which will be the of the interest of the audience also, and which is of your interest also, because it is very easier to deliver a presentation which the audience are finding it relevant, because the audience are going to get connected, the audience are going to be interested in your topic, and hence it is easier to deliver a presentation. And it is also enjoyable for you if you select a topic of your choice, of your interest, because you are also going to enjoy giving that presentation, because it is of your interest. Just for an example, when the subjects are chosen by the professors, they usually choose the subjects which are going to be of their interest. Okay, why? Because then it becomes easier for them to deliver the lecture. In the similar manner, you should also select, if there are a number of topics from which you have to choose, then you can choose one of the topic which is of your interest, and which you feel that which will be of the interest of the audience also, that you have to choose, because then audience have to get connected to it, right? The third step that you're going to do is you're going to define the object in planning. You're going to define the objective of your presentation. Objective is the one line. I can say the objective of my today's I'm going to give is to make my students understand the planning of presentation, so that in future, whenever my students want to give a presentation, they can follow this step and plan their presentation properly. This is for me of my lecture for today. That is, I should teach my students in such a way this topic that they should be able to give their presentation, they should plan their presentation in a proper way, following all the steps. This is my today's objective for my lecture. In the similar manner, each and every person has his objective when he gives a presentation. Clearing his examination, somebody may have the objective of getting good marks, somebody may have an objective of telling that knowledge properly, somebody may have an objective of getting votes, somebody may be of having an objective of passing on the values that he is having to the other person. Okay, so each and every person has some different objectives for a specific topic that he is giving. Okay, so you should understand what is the objective with which you are, what is the objective for which you are going to give this presentation. Once you know that objective, which is a single concise statement, and what you want to give from the presentation, then that objective becomes the basis of the amount of content that you are going to incorporate, the level of content that you are going to incorporate into your presentation, and the amount of time that you are going to take in order to fulfill that objective. So that becomes the basis. So your objective becomes the basis of your presentation. उस objective को पकड़ के I am going to go ahead with my presentation. That makes me focus to that particular point. I don't get diverted here and there, because that is not my objective. That is not my objective. This is my objective. So you remain focused to your topic, and that focus is nothing but your objective. So that objective keeps you focused onto a particular topic. You don't divert from it here to there, because if you divert, then what is happening is you're diverting from your objective. Hence, you don't divert, and you remain focused. You don't lose your track. So you have to decide upon your aim. You have to decide upon your objective. Prepare your presentation. So the third step in planning would be plan your objective properly. क्या करना है मुझे? Next 1 घंटे में मुझे क्या करना है? That you have to, or whatever time is next 30 minutes, or in 30 minutes of your presentation, in 10 minutes of my presentation, in 1 hour of my presentation, what are the things that I have to cover? What is the thing that I have give to my audience? That you have to decide. Once the objective is clear, then you come to the step 4th, where you're going to prepare the presentation itself. So this is the presentation that has been prepared by me, which consists of number of slides. So this is the presentation. So your objective decides upon the presentation, how you are going to prepare. That is going to decide on how much information, okay, you are going to put depending upon the time. So this is the information that I have put. This depends upon what? This depends upon time. How time? I know that this is my chapter, which I give you, which I show you initially. If you have seen over here, I'll just show it to you. If you see over here, initially, I just, on my first slide, I write down interview skills. How many hours I have been given? 2 hours I have been given. This is the topic. This topic I have to finish in 2 hours. I have 2 hours with me, because the whole unit is having 5 hours. This 5 hours is for 2 lessons, interview skill and giving presentation. So interview skills I have allocated 2 hours, giving presentation I have allocated 3 hours. So in 1 hour, what I have to cover? I have to cover the introductory part and purpose of the interview. In the next 1 hour, I have to cover the do's and don'ts of an interview. The next lecture, I have to start with giving presentation. In that, I have to cover dealing with fears and introductory part of it. Then in today's lecture, I have to cover planning presentation and delivering the presentation. And after that, I have to cover the techniques of delivery. So I have already planned, depending upon time, I have planned what are the things that I have to cover. And once I have planned whatever the things I have to be covered, then I write down the matter in such a way that much points would be covered in that much of time. Are you understanding? So I determine how much information, how much I am going to talk in that 1 hour. Now this is also, you also have to put the information depending upon the knowledge of your audience. So once you have the knowledge of your audience, then you can put the amount of detail that you have to give, and also the objective. So depending upon the objective, depending upon the knowledge of the audience, which I have taken earlier, okay, during writing also we have seen that the knowledge of the audience is very important. So depending upon the knowledge of the audience, depending upon the intellectual level of your audience, depending upon the objective that you have, now depending upon the time that you have, depending upon all these things, what you are going to put is you are going to prepare a presentation of yourself. Whenever you prepare a presentation, don't prepare a presentation that would be very basic as per their knowledge, as per the audience knowledge. Audience के लिए बहुत ही basic होगा, ऐसा भी मत prepare करना, because then they would be thinking what he is talking too basic. I already know all these things. And also don't prepare too advanced, because if they are not able to connect, if they don't find it interesting, if they find it very difficult to grasp, then again they are going to lose their interest. So it should not be too very basic, or it should not be too very advanced. So when you prepare your presentation, it should be of a mid-level, okay, in terms of knowledge, in terms of information, okay. It should not be too high of information, or जो उनके ऊपर सर के ऊपर से चलाया जाएगा, या too basic of information which you may not find it interesting to hear. Okay, so right kind of level of details you have to give to them, information you have to give to them. This is your step number 4 in planning. The next thing that you have to do is, in order to prepare your body of presentation. So this is the body of presentation, right? That I have prepared. In order to prepare your body of presentation, is also always support it with illustrations, examples, datas, facts, quotes. Okay. So you should have some data, you should have some facts, you should have some quotes from the experts. You should be telling your personal experiences in between, and you should provide a nice description about that topic. Don't leave it as, don't talk as, steps in planning. First you have to analyze your audience, second you have to select a topic, third you have to define the objective, fourth you have to prepare a body, and then you have to prepare introduction and conclusion and leave it. Then you're not describing it properly. So your body of presentation should contain some data, should contain some facts, should contain some quotes, should contain some experiences, experience of other person, personal experiences. This all should be present. You should have proper description, okay, of each and every point that you have written on it. Okay. If there are lots of facts, then also people get bored. Data or facts or fact sheets अगर आप सब रखोगे तो भी people बोर हो जाते. अगर आप स्टोरी के पीछे स्टोरी बताते रहोगे तो भी people बोर हो जाते. So you should have mixture of all the things in your presentation. Mixture of questions, mixture of quotes, mixture of experiences, some data, some facts. These all should be present in your presentation, and you should form the body of your presentation. The next step after preparing your data, okay, preparing your presentation, preparing the body of your presentation, remember to plan your introduction, that is the initial part, and plan your last part, that is introduction and conclusion part, very nicely. Now, when you give the introduction is something that you give at the beginning. Introduction helps you to capture the attention of your audience. अगर आपने introduction अच्छा दे दिया, then what is going to happen? People, audience are going to feel that he is going to talk something very nice in next half an hour or 1 hour. So let me listen to him. And conclusion is also very important, because when you conclude it, what you're going to do is you're going to summarize all the important points that you have to. So once you summarize all the points, even if somebody has missed on some important points in between, he is going to understand that. So what you do in introduction is you tell them what you're going to tell them. Okay, in the beginning you tell them that these are the things that I'm going to cover. So that is the reason why when I start my topic, I tell you what are the things I'm going to cover. And when you are ending it, then tell them that what you have already told them, that these are the points that we have covered today. So in the beginning, you tell them what you are going to cover. At the end, you tell them whatever you have covered. In short, in a concise manner. Initially, you do it, introduction, so that you grab the attention. And finally, you do it, you again tell the whole point so that they remember while going whatever they have studied. So your introduction and your conclusion becomes very important. During the opening of your presentation, if you give a very good introduction, okay, if you crack some joke, if you tell a story for you, which is going to be important for your topic, if you ask some questions, then that is going to grab the attention of your audience, and it is going to build the interest in their mind. Okay, if you miss the first 10-15 seconds, 10 minutes of your presentation, and if you are not able to grab the interest of your audience, then remember, the audience are not going to get switched on to your presentation for the whole time. That 30 minutes or 1 hour, 45 minutes, whatever you're going to give the presentation, people are not going to get hooked up to your presentation. The same is with the movie also. The first 10-15 minutes of the movie and last 10-15 minutes of the movie are very important. Because if in first 10-15 minutes you are able to grab the attention of your audience, then they are going to remain focused and glued towards to the movie for the next, say, 1 hour or 2 hour. And at the end, if you make a very good ending, okay, then people are going to remember it for lifelong. कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा? Fantastic ending for Bahubali 1. It was the best ending. People remember that movie so much that they were waiting for the next movie to come. Okay, because they wanted an answer for it. So that was a fantastic conclusion. In the similar manner, people should be hooked to your presentation, and at the end they should be carrying some message along with them. Let us see some strategies that you are going to follow during introduction and during conclusion. So when you are doing introduction, do introduction which is relevant to your listeners' goals, values, needs. So it should be something which is relevant to the listener. In my case, it is very relevant to the listener. I am a teacher. These are the topics which are there in your syllabus. At the end of the year, you have to write down you have to appear for the examination. You have to tell this knowledge. You have to showcase this knowledge in your examination. So I have to tell them, okay, these are the topics. So that is what I do. That these are the topics from your syllabus. I show you the syllabus. And that is what I tell you, the relevance. Yes, this is very relevant because this is your syllabus. You have to listen to my presentation. Ask question to simulate thinking. Yesterday, Mihir was asking me that how many questions should be asked, what question should be asked. So do keep asking question. At the beginning, if you ask a question, nothing like it. Okay? Because then the people are going to start thinking. Share personal experience. At the beginning, talk about an experience, which will be relevant to your topic. Begin with a joke, begin with a humorous story. People are going to get hooked to your presentation. You can show a cartoon, you can show a beautiful visual, and then start your story based upon that visual, and then go to the content. That is another way of doing it. Okay. Start with the inspirational statement of Mahatma Gandhi. Start with the inspirational statement of some big authors. Okay. Be related to your topic, and that's the way you can begin your introduction. Or you can do your introduction by doing some demonstration. If you have some experiment that can be shown to the students, do some experiments, show it to the students, and tell them that we are going to talk about this experiment in next 1 hour, how this experiment was done, and or you can show a product to the people. We are going to talk about this product in next 1 hour, something like this. Okay. So there are many ways to start with your introduction. You can start with a joke, you can start with a story, you can start with the experience, you can start with a question, you can start with a cartoon, you can start with a beautiful visual, you can start with the inspirational statements, you can start with the demonstration. Okay. You can start with a blank slide. Okay. You can start with giving the forms, asking them to write something. You can ask them by circulating or making groups and giving them an activity to perform. There are n numbers of ways to start your introduction, but it all depends upon the time also. Now, most of the things are not possible. Now, these many things are not possible for the professors to do. Now, you must be thinking that sir is telling us that this should be done, that should be done. But when we listen to the presentation of the professors, they don't do all such things. The reason being because their objective is different. Their objective is to provide the knowledge of what is there in your syllabus to you. Okay. So a teacher, when you become a teacher, the presentation is going to be different. When you are a motivational speaker, then the presentation is different. When you are giving a presentation to an experts, to your teachers, it's going to be different. You're going to start with a joke. You're going to start with a humorous story. You're going to start with a personal experience. These things are not possible. Okay, when you're doing that. If it is a presentation which is very scientific in nature, then maybe the demonstration would be something that you can go on. You can't ask question to your experts or to your professors sitting over there listening to it. That cannot be done. Okay, so you have to use some methodology of these. These are some of the tips that have been given to you. You can use your own tip, so that the basic intention is at this juncture, at the introduction, you have to catch hold of the attention of your audience. That is the major important. There are some strategies during the conclusion. Okay, that is, you have to reinforce on the main ideas of your communication. Okay, whatever you have told in last 1 hour, or say 30 minutes or 45 minutes, you have to just brief it, just brush it up, because the students, the audience, the listeners, they cannot remember your whole presentation verbatim, line by line. They just are going to listen, they just are going to remember your ideas, and you just have to brush up those points, the main points, okay, by in your conclusion. Okay, and the last planning that you have to do is you have to practice. Usual mistake that most of the people that they do is they spend time in preparing the presentation. So this is the preparation of presentation, preparing the slides. They spend a lot of time, but they don't give time for practicing it. If you don't practice your presentation, remember, your presentation will not be successful. You have to read your presentation, you have to read your presentation, you have to read your presentation. You have to plan it, what you are going to speak on each and every point. How is your flow going to be? What are the stories that you are going to tell? What are the examples that you are going to give? Please remember, examples won't come to your mind immediately. You must have found it difficult when you are writing the paper to write down the examples, isn't it? So these examples, these illustrations, these quotes, you have to, think about, you have to plan about in your presentation. The main advantage that you have when you are practicing your presentation is you reduce the number of times you utter the word well, and many a times you feel you fall short of words when you're speaking. This is true with the people who have good command on their language. With these people also, they find short of words when they are speaking. And then I was trying to tell you, well, these types of words, they come out, or you go silent, or you say, what I mean to say is, and you remain silent for a while. So this does not happen if you have practiced your presentation properly. Moreover, if you practice your presentation, then you go on fine-tuning your content. At the beginning, the content would be different. Then you fine-tune it. Then you again fine-tune it. Then you again fine-tune it. That happens only if you are reading your presentation, if you're practicing upon your presentation. Otherwise, also when you're doing practicing delivering of a presentation, think on how you are going to deliver it, how you want to deliver it. These points we are going to study at the end of this lesson. Okay, so there are different methods of delivery. You can deliver it with your memory, you can use cards and notes, you can read it from the script, or you can use combination of the methods. These all we are going to study in detail in my last 3 to 4 slides, each and every technique. So decide what technique I am going to use to deliver my presentation, and practice that technique for delivery. Okay, this is all about planning your presentation.